From Kern Government Television, welcome to this week's Kern County Board of Supervisors meeting, originating from the County Administrative Center located at 1115 Truxtun Avenue, Bakersfield, California. Kern County's vision is to create and maintain a customer-centered county government designed to garner the confidence, support, and trust of the people we serve. Today's Kern County Board of Supervisors meeting will convene momentarily.
Okay. Board to reconvene. Good evening, Madam Clerk. Would you please call the roll?
Supervisor Gleason.
Yeah.
Supervisor Scribner.
Here.
Supervisor Maggard. Supervisor Maggard, I know you're with us telephonically. Is your phone off?
Yep. Mike Maggard is here.
Okay. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you. Supervisor Couch.
Here.
Supervisor Perez.
Here. Thank you. Good evening and welcome to the Monday, August 3rd, 2020 evening meeting of the Board of Supervisors. We will begin today's meeting with the flag salute led by our very own Supervisor David Couch. Following the flag salute, please remain standing for a moment of prayer, silence, or meditation, whichever you prefer.
Please stand, put your hand over your heart, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The County of Kern has consistently provided notice that as a result of the declared federal, state, and local emergencies due to the COVID-19 pandemic and in light of the governor's order, this Board of Supervisors meeting is not physically open to the public. Testimony and general public comment can be given through email or telephone to the clerk of the board prior to today's meeting, and live comments through teleconference will be heard during the meeting. Moving along to our agenda this evening is public presentations. I understand we have received numerous emails and voicemails that we will share with the public at this time, and I will turn the floor over to my boss, Madam Clerk Kathy Krause.
Madam Chair, members of the board, we just have one member of the public wishing to address your board under public presentations. We have the Reverend Wesley Crawford on the line. Reverend Crawford, if you would unmute your phone by pressing *6, you have 2 minutes to address the board.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board. The reason for my calling is basically I see something as being inhumane. On Sunday, my special needs child went to sleep in Jesus at 11:59. It was tragic at the hospital because basically my son died by himself. A mentally challenged boy woke up and saw all these people around him. Anyway, we got through that. And so now we're trying to give him a homegoing celebration, a celebration of his life. Every year, every day for 30 years, when he woke up, he would say, when he got to be about 5 or 6, he would say, "Thank God for another day," because he knew his struggles. He knew what he was going through. And so basically, we attempted to give him, on the 8th of August, we attempted to give him a Christian funeral, a homegoing celebration inside of a church, True Light Missionary Baptist Church in Wasco, California. Somewhere in here, I don't know if the county called, I don't know who called, I can't tell you, but someone called our church and said, "Hey, by the way, you can't have a service inside a church." Now, here's the cold part about this, what I call the inhumane treatment part of this. They would prefer for you to take a family, a pastor that is 86 years of age, stand him in the sun, and have him perform a funeral along with the choir and everything else. I think that's inhumane. It's already inhumane inside the hospitals the way they are treated. They're treated like they have the bubonic plague or something. Me and my wife tried for 4 days to get upstairs to calm our son down, to help our son pass over to something that even we don't know what's on the other side. We just know that God is there. We know that he's asleep in Jesus, and we know that. But for the most part, no one has ever experienced that and came back and talked about that and said, this is what I experienced. So it's scary for a grown person, more or less a mentally retarded person. Anyway, Ken Keller of the Memorial Hospital called me today, and he's going to change some things there. What I was trying to get through is that it's a shame that we got to put people in 104-degree weather to do a funeral service. That's crazy. When everybody in the church is practicing safe, they're seating 6 feet from each other. They're putting on their masks. They're washing their hands. I don't know how clear that can be. And so I'm trying to get the county, our county, because it's so hot here, to create a policy at least that allows the churches to do what they're doing. I called the governor's office, and I got the rudest, but he don't have to worry. He's running again. And this time I will make sure that I go up and down California talking about this inhumane treatment. But I'm just trying to say from our county, where we live at, it's hot here. And so when you force people out into the heat, they can get heat strokes, they can get all kinds of things. And so the point is, I think the governor is wrong on that. I talked to the director of the public health. He's saying it ain't me. So tomorrow he's sending me a letter saying that the governor told him that. And then I'm going to mosey on over to Kathleen Faulkner's office and see if I can't get something started. Because this is ridiculous. It's inhumane. I mean, you're asking old people to sit in the sun. I mean, that don't make any sense. I don't know no cemetery that has a cover that will cover a bunch of people. So what they do is they have people pull up to the cemetery, and 10 can go under a tent. But the preacher is out of the tent, and he's standing directly into the sun. So I'm trying to get the county to move on this, to do something about this. Somebody send a letter to the governor and say, hey, this is inhumane. What can we do? And see if we can't work it out. I thank y'all very much for listening to me. I'm only hoping and praying that, that somebody get involved in this. I know I called Atlanta, our lawyers in Atlanta, and come to find out, Atlanta doesn't even have this. Georgia doesn't even have this rule. So I don't know what to do. It's not in all states. And so we had Congressman Cummings' funeral at Ebenezer Baptist Church this past Saturday. And so people were there. They was practicing safe distance. They had their masks on. Some people had gloves on. But throughout it all, at the door when they walked in, they washed their hands. So I don't know what to say other than I hope and pray that our county will do something about this. I know I'm not going to ask my pastor, who's 84, to stand in the sun, even though he's saying I'll stand in the sun if I have to. So I don't think that's crazy. I mean, I think it's actually ludicrous myself personally. I think this whole thing of COVID-19, I think we need to visit it. I think the health department needs to start a community board so that one person from the community can sit on a board with them and tell them from the real perspective of what's actually going on inside Kern County. I thank each and every one of you. May God bless you, keep you, and guide you. And Jesus is Lord. Amen.
Wesley, thank you so much for your call and for your passion for this county, as has been demonstrated through the decades, not just today on this very complicated issue. You know, California now has more coronavirus cases than any state in the union. And one of the reasons that we have found ourselves in this position is because some folks, certainly not me, and it sounds like not you either, are still gathering in these rather emotional, very human, very central and core to our existence kind of meetings and gatherings, and this thing is spreading like wildfire. The order that Matt Constantine, our public health director, is under comes straight from the governor himself. And we have been on a watch list and off a watch list, and it really has come down to the degree to which people here are really social distancing and masking up to protect themselves and to protect others. And we are not where we need to be, Wesley. And because of that, the governor has ordered health departments and people like Mr. Constantine to follow orders so that we can have some universal application across the 58 counties of Kern County. And this is, I'll tell you, Wesley, I've had two close friends who's had to bury, in one instance, their young son, and in one instance, a beloved mother, neither of whom were allowed to have funerals, both of whom plan to do celebrations of life at some point in the future, and we don't know when. And watching them go through that process has been harrowing and heartbreaking, as it is to listen to you, Wesley. And God bless your son. I'm so happy that he is resting in peace, and that your family is still healthy otherwise and fighting for the things that you believe in. That's righteous, Wesley. But our public health director is under direct orders from the governor. He cannot alter those, and the things that happen under his watch ultimately fall under the county's liability. And so he is in a very difficult, precarious position on these matters in particular. But I would certainly love the opportunity to talk with you tomorrow. We've talked about many things through the years. We've had heated and difficult discussions about a lot of important matters, so I'm confident that we can do that. And I want to work with you to see what we can do, if anything, Wesley. But please understand that our hands are limited, or our options are limited, our hands are tied. But I would like to call you tomorrow if that's okay.
That's fine, Supervisor, Madam Chair. But I want to say this here. I guess and he's supposed to be writing me a letter, because when we lay our son to rest, the next day we're on a train to Sacramento. And I talked to Senator Shannon Grove and a few others, and they kind of feel the way that I feel. But we got to get to the governor, and that's the key. The key to it is, I don't think the governor has been in a church when the church has practiced social distance. And listen to what I'm saying to you. If you go, that's why you closed Valley Plaza, because I sat there one day, Supervisor, Madam Chair, and I literally counted 385 people, and none of them had masks on. Yeah. And so then when I went in the store, and I went to Macy's, Macy's said, well, our policy is that they're in the store. And so the question became, why didn't Macy's shut down? Why didn't Penny shut down? I mean, if you're going to allow that to take place, of course, we're going to escalate because people are not practicing. That does not mean that the churches are not. And so I would encourage each and every one of y'all, if you would go to a church and watch actually what take place, you'll be shocked. So it ain't the churches, it's the people. And so, I mean, yes, ma'am, and you can call me anytime. I'm ready. Soon as I lay my son to rest, I hate to say it like this here, but the war is on. Because my baby died in a hospital. You may not understand what that means. He died in a hospital room by himself because they thought he had COVID-19. Now to protect themselves, they threw it on paper. But I'm saying to you that was the most hurting feeling for a parent, to have a special needs son, and you can't go up there and hold his hands in the last distance. But let me tell you what they did. When he died, they masked us up, gloved us up, and gowned us up and then let us go in the room for 1 hour. If you was going to let us go in the room for 1 hour, you should have let us go in the room from gate 1. And then maybe we could have calmed our son down and helped him pass over. Thank you. I'm willing to talk to you about anything. It don't matter, but especially about this, because it's inhumane. I've known people to literally go in the hospital and they having a heart attack and they kick their wife out the emergency room. And so she's sitting in the parking lot in the car, and they're working on her husband inside the car. So I'd love to sit down and talk with you and bring some of these people to your office, Madam Chair, so you can hear their experiences.
Okay,
Thank you all
Wesley.
very much for listening to me.
I
That's
think
not
we-
without my time.
I think we should do that, and I'm going to call you tomorrow, and we'll see all the ways in which we can try to assuage this period for your family. I promise you. You'll hear from me tomorrow, Wesley.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay? God bless you, brother.
God bless you too.
Okay.
Madam Chair.
Mick?
Yeah, can I just throw a thought in there? Maybe we can't solve that whole thing. He sounds like he's got a lot of problems, a horror story. But maybe there's a piece of it we could get our hands around and help. If there was a common place where the planning department could maybe create some outdoor area that was adequate to support memorial services or something like that, or somewhere, and we could work with the funeral parlors to agree, or the churches to agree. There's a lot of things maybe we could do. I'd be very interested in helping you out. So if there's something I can do, let me know.
How wonderful you
Thank you.
are, Mick. Thank you so much for that. We care about you, Wesley, and we're doing everything we can in compliance with the law to keep that human touch, as you have pointed to. So thank you for your call, and I'm going to talk to you tomorrow. Okay. Thank you, Wesley, for your call. Mick, thank you for your graciousness. What else do we have under public presentations, Madam Clerk?
We have no other public presentations this evening.
Okay. Moving to board member announcements or reports, I'd ask my colleagues for any information that you would like to share with the public at this time. Now would be the time to do that. Supervisor Maggard, I just want to make sure that we can hear you if you needed to chime in for anything. I know we'll be hearing.
I'm good, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Okay, great. I know we'll hear an update from you tomorrow. Thank you, Mike. This brings us now to item number 3, Madam Clerk, on our agenda for this evening, which is a public meeting to receive comments for fiscal year 2020-2021 recommended budget. Mr. Alsop, this is your item. Thank you and your team for your hard work on a budget in a really, really difficult time. Thank you. We look forward to hearing from you and the plan this county has to keep ourselves afloat during this unprecedented time. So, Mr. Alsop, thank you for your leadership, your team. The floor is yours.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Madam Chairwoman. Members of the board, thank you. Good evening. Before we begin, I'd like to thank our department heads, our county staff across all county business areas, and particularly my staff for all of the work that they've done under extremely difficult circumstances to bring you this budget recommendation tonight. This is our third meeting scheduled to discuss the development of the county's FY 2020-21 budget, specifically for the general fund and the fire fund. The first meeting we had was on June 30th, at which time your board approved a preliminary recommended budget and received some initial comments from members of the public. Tonight's discussion provides your board with an update on our recommendations and includes final year-end fund balances, including our property tax assessment roll. As is always the case with year-end closing and final property tax valuation figures now available, my office is able to provide some recommended allocation adjustments, primarily for one-time uses or expenditures. The fiscal year 2020-21 recommended budget before you tonight has been thoughtfully developed with a focus on your board's priorities and the critical needs of Kern County residents, particularly as they relate to public safety services. In light of the significant financial challenges the county is facing today, the severity of the financial challenges we're projecting to face in FY 21-22, and the financial economic uncertainties resulting from COVID-19, this budget recommendation reflects your board's priorities, your fiscally responsible leadership, your long view approach in financial management and demonstrates the commitment of department management and our employees who are working collaboratively for the benefit of county residents and the overall financial sustainability of this county. Some of the highlights: this budget is balanced and addresses a $25.5 million revenue shortfall across all funds countywide, $11 million of which is just in the general and fire funds as a result, specifically to the economic impacts of COVID-19. As you are aware, we had originally projected a much larger revenue shortfall. We had some last-minute changes from the state of California, who has provided some backfill for certain programmatic areas, which have been helpful in reducing the challenge this year. But again, we're addressing a $25.5 million revenue shortfall, 11 of which is in the general fund. This budget funds probation staffing at our probation department related to a recent settlement agreement, which enhances staffing for improved programming in juvenile facilities, additional training, as well as prescribed facility and technology improvements. It funds additional staffing for our district attorney. It continues your board's focus on investment in parks, and this budget does not propose any permanent closure of any branch of the Kern County Library System. And again, I want to say that this budget does not propose any permanent closure of any branch in the Kern County Library System. It continues to build on and support actions your board has taken to address recruitment and retention challenges within our Sheriff's Department. It continues to sustain department-wide salary adjustments that your board provided to the Sheriff's Department last year. It maintains a designation in reserves to assist the sheriff with his pension cost increases and in his recruitment efforts. It adds 4 additional sergeant positions needed for additional improved oversight in the field. It pays for the needed replacement of 65 patrol vehicles in the Sheriff's Department. It provides additional funding for illegal cannabis enforcement operations. It provides for the badly needed replacement of the water tanks that provide the Laredo Jail facility with water and fire suppression, sanitation, and consumption. And it pays for critically needed forensic science capital investment, both for the sheriff and the district attorney. This budget also addresses the financial challenges faced by our fire department, and it moves our county forward on a 5-year plan to eliminate the deficit in the fire fund and provide the fire chief with the ability to address critical capital investment needs by adding an additional $14 million in revenue this budget year for our fire department. Your board, through this budget recommendation, is providing an additional $4 million in annual operational revenue to the fire fund in perpetuity. This is a permanent transfer of property tax revenue from the county's general fund to the fire fund going forward forever. This budget also provides for the investment of $10 million for the fire department in additional revenue to purchase 23 brand new fire engines and battalion chief vehicles and 1 bulldozer. The trailer for that bulldozer and transport and tender. To break it down, this funding would allow our fire chief, as soon as the budget is adopted, to move forward with purchasing 9 brand new Type 1 engines, 5 brand new Type 3 engines, 9 brand new battalion chief vehicles, and 1 brand new bulldozer, trailer, transport, and tender. This is the largest capital investment of equipment in the fire department in well over a decade. The budget includes the fire chief's recommendation to achieve approximately $6 million in additional savings through operational changes at fire stations, through a combination of limited station closures and/or station brownouts. These actions are dependent on a series of considerations to include the county's fiscal situation, as it relates to property tax going forward, not just closing, going into this next fiscal year, but the fiscal year beyond. It is also contingent upon implementation of our effort to achieve full cost recovery for the services provided to contract cities, among other things. My office will continue working with the fire chief in the immediate weeks ahead on an effort to mitigate any need for station closures or brownouts as part of this budget. I want to repeat that. I am working with the fire chief and the fire department to mitigate any need for us as part of this budget to do any station closures or brownouts of fire stations. We're working very hard to do that. We will be reporting back to you on where things stand when the final budget is brought back to your board at the end of the month. With that, I'm going to ask Ms. Martinez, our county's Chief Financial Officer, to walk you through this recommended budget in greater detail.
Good evening.
Good evening, Madam Chair and members of the board. On June 30, your board approved the preliminary budget as shown on this slide. At the July meetings, we provide your board with closing fund balances and final property tax revenue estimates based on the assessor's final roll. We rebalance the funds and make adjustment to the preliminary budget based on critical needs and your board priorities. Our main goal is to align one-time resources such as fund balance to one-time costs and ongoing resources such as property taxes to operational costs. Mr. Ryan Alsap indicated the net fund balance available is $45.7 million. This amount takes into consideration rebudgets of projects that were not completed at year-end and reestablishes budget savings incentives, or BSI, not used by the departments prior to closing of the fiscal year. If your board may recall, during the May meeting, your board allows to suspend the earning of salary savings. However, that we allowed the departments to retain any balances they had prior to that approval. Property taxes have been also recalculated. The property assessed values were finalized at year-end by the assessor's office, and as noted in the preliminary budget presentation, property taxes revenue for the general fund is estimated to remain flat, primarily as a result of the property tax base transfer from the general fund to the fire fund. After factoring the final decrease in the oil and gas values and the increase in other secure properties, the overall change in revenue from the preliminary budget presented in June is an increase of $1.1 million, or 0.32%. The recommended budget, as we indicated in the preliminary budget, included decreased consumer spending that affected our realignment sales tax. The state has allocated $750 million from realignment backfill to fund a portion of the safety net services that counties administer on behalf of the state. The county's share of the backfill is $16.7 million. We could receive an additional $5.5 million if the federal government approves additional COVID-19 relief funds. And while the state backfill is critical to continue the delivery of vital services such as public health, behavioral health, social services, and public safety, it is not enough. The total realignment revenue is still approximately $25.5 million less than fiscal year 2019-20 budget at the same time that demand for services is increasing. The overall impact on the general fund from the state backfill is approximately $823,000. This is related to our in-home supported services program. The net fund balance combined with the additional discretionary revenue and the state backfill provides a net amount of $47.7 million. Next slide, please. The first adjustment we do is to backfill the $11.1 million of one-time funding that we're using for ongoing operations in the general fund. This is the deficit that we will need to address in the coming year. The remaining one-time funds balance of $36.6 million will be available to allocate in fiscal year 2021. That $11.1 million I referenced is the bottom of the number on the presentation in front of you. After careful consideration and based on your board priorities, the following adjustments are proposed for the remaining funds. We will be adding approximately $10.9 million of new critical major maintenance projects, including the replacement of the water tanks that provide the Lerdo facility with water for many uses. The projects are being funded with $2.7 million of fund balance, the use of $3.7 million from the designation from jail operations, and state and grant revenue. As Mr. Alsop indicated, we're adding $5 million for the purchase of critical fire apparatus and other equipment, in addition to $578,000 proposed lease financing. These combined funding sources will provide the $10 million in equipment for the fire department. The next two items are increases to appropriation for contingencies proposed for the probation department. As Mr. Alsop indicated, due to a settlement, we have to provide additional resources to the probation department to fill mandated positions. We're also adding fund to appropriation for contingencies for the general liability self-insured program. The county council, in consultation with our office, made a change to the program, increasing our retention for self-insurance from $3 million to $7.5 million. And we need to have additional resources in our reserve to fund in case we have a big settlement. The following item, the $298,000, is funding for contract payments for ongoing security for our human resources, payroll, and financial system. The next item is a court maintenance facility. If your board may recall, as a result of the transfer of the court facilities and operations to the state, the county is required to fund a portion of the ongoing maintenance and transfer any excess revenue above the revenue established in the 1990s. As a result of increased costs and revenue reductions, approximately $1 million in fund balance is needed to meet this obligation in the coming year. Supporting your board's commitment to public safety, the proposed budget adjustments include funding for the sheriff's office and district attorney's critical staffing and equipment needs, including the proposed lease payment to replace 65 patrol vehicles. In addition, funding for cannabis enforcement operation is also recommended. Next slide, please. Approximately $722,000 is recommended for libraries. As noted in the staff report, all libraries have been physically closed to the public since mid-March as a result of the governor's order and the essential staffing on the county. Initially, the libraries transitioned to online services that include e-books, daily story times, English and Spanish conversation groups, and yoga sessions, to mention a few. Beginning July 1st, the department began a phased reopening by adding curbside services at Arvinville Memorial, Delano, Kern River Valley, Ridgecrest Staff, and Tehachapi. Currently, our residents are not able to browse the shelves. The staff is doing that for them. In addition to providing technology assistance from afar, printing, copying, faxing. During the summer, the staff is distributing lunch bags for our residents in need. You can see our library staff outside the libraries distributing lunch bags and materials in the 100-degree weather. To protect our employees and residents, the staff is also sanitizing all returned books and materials. They have also been tasked with distributing personal protective equipment to small businesses through the PPE support program. Using the additional funding, the department anticipates providing curbside services initially at 4 additional locations: Southwest, Fraser Park, Roseman, and Wascott. And they will continue working on a phased reopening for other locations. The remaining items listed in that slide, we have already discussed and include the additional staffing for our sheriff's office and district attorney and the proposed leases for the fire and sheriff department. Next slide, please. So finally, the proposed adjustments include a net increase of $9.4 million to reserves and designations. This includes the use of $6.5 million of retirement designation to offset the increases in pension costs for sheriff and probation department, and the use of $3.7 million to fund the replacement of water tanks at Lerdo. This decrease is offset by an increase of $18.7 million. And I know there have been a lot of comments regarding our reserve balance. I think this increase is prudent and important to provide the ability to minimize operational impacts for replacement of critical capital needs, to offset potential reductions in revenue, and offset the $11.1 million of fund balance currently being used for operations, and to minimize service impacts to our residents. This is the deficit, again, that we will need to mitigate in the coming year, in addition to any potential reductions in property tax or other revenue. As Mr. Alsop indicated, we have not adjusted the fire department budget, but as a result of the additional revenue from the preliminary budget and the available fund balance of $4.1 million, we will provide these one-time resources to mitigate as possible any service level impacts to our residents. There is no required action from your board today. This meeting is set to hear public comment, but we will be pleased to hear any direction you have regarding regarding the recommended budget. Our next public meeting will be tomorrow, and we will be followed by our budget hearings on August 25th at 9 a.m., I'm sorry. This concludes our prepared comments, and I will be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. I'm sure we'll have some questions for you. So thank you again for your hard work, and stay close. We'll move to public presentations regarding the budget as proposed this evening by the CAO's office. So Kathy, let's take that hearing, or let's take that testimony.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the board. We did have 5 members of the public signed up to address your board telephonically. We're going to start with Jasmine De La Aguila. Ms. De La Aguila, if you would unmute your phone by pressing *6, you have 2 minutes to address the board.
Good evening, Madam Chair and Board of Supervisors. My name is Jasmine De La Aguila with Leadership Council for Justice and Accountability. On June 29th, we shared with the board and county staff an overview of residents' priorities for fiscal year 2021. Community priorities in the letter included continued and increased funding for parks and green spaces, active transportation infrastructure, affordable housing, and community centers. Today and tomorrow, I'll be sharing with you the community-oriented priorities we recommend your board to review and take action on. Historic underinvestment of disadvantaged communities has resulted in perpetuated deep inequities in access to opportunity, which have been exacerbated by the current global pandemic. The county budget should be reflective of community priorities and responsive to community needs. Residents asked for the continual investment and protection of allocated $125,000 per supervisorial district for park improvements, in addition to actively seeking opportunities to increase these funds and improve county neighborhood parks. Lamont residents also showed great interest in working with the county to establish a community garden that creates opportunities and multiple health benefits in their community, such as increasing their access to fresh fruits and vegetables. The global pandemic has increased the vulnerability of low-income and disadvantaged households who struggle to pay rent and quarantine properly. For this reason, the county must allocate CARE funds and ESG funds to help individuals and families be housed and ensure that they can safely quarantine without putting them or others at risk. The county can do so by establishing rental and utility assistance programs, rather than utilizing these funds to offset a negative fund balance. Tomorrow, you should be receiving a letter from us where we will share these and other recommendations that we have for your review. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You were 2 minutes on the spot, too. That's impressive. Thank you for your input and your concise statement about your values and what you're asking of this board. It's very clear. And I appreciate the concern for rental assistance, as that is a major issue, probably the #1 issue I hear about in my office and from my staff. So I think we need to have that conversation, and I appreciate your passion and your input. So thanks, Jasmine.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, members of the board, the next speaker we have on the line is Francisco Martinez. Mr. Martinez, if you would unmute your phone by pressing *6, you have 2 minutes to address the board.
Good evening, Chairwoman Perez and board members. My name is Francisco Martinez. I am a CPS social service worker. I have been a county employee for almost 17 years. I am a constituent of District 2, and I am a proud member of SEIU Local 521. Cuts to county services will hurt everyone, especially the most vulnerable in our county. It will hurt many people of color, and it will hurt many single female households who are the most dependent on county services. Since 2016, there have been yearly budget cuts presented by the CAO and approved by the board. What have been a couple of outcomes from all these years of budget cuts? An explosion of homelessness and a study ranking Batesville as the worst city for children to grow up. Now, after years of budget cuts, Kern County essential workers have to provide essential services to the most vulnerable in our county during a global pandemic. Do you really want to reduce any more funds to provide essential county services? The Board of Supervisors needs to consider the impact to county workers and to the communities they serve when making decisions on next year's budget. The board needs to maintain current levels of staffing and services for all programs the board oversees locally, and if operating funds fall short, to take whatever means necessary to allocate or reallocate reserve funds to make up revenue shortfalls now and for the next 36 months. We ask the Board of Supervisors to call on our state representatives and Governor Newsom to prevent state budget cuts that will hurt the most vulnerable and damage our state's economic recovery. We also ask that you help us pass the HEALS Act, which is stuck in the Senate. The HEALS Act will provide federal revenue to help with our budget deficit. Now is the time we need to invest in county services, not to reduce them. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your years of investment in Kern County and to working people. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Madam Chair, members of the board, our next speaker is Deborah McClanahan. Ms. McClanahan, if you would unmute your phone by pressing *6, you have 2 minutes to address the board.
Ms. McClanahan, are you there?
Ms. McClanahan, I see that your phone is still muted. You need to press *6 on your phone to unmute your phone. Madam Chair, members of the board, it seems that she's not able to do so. We're going to try and rectify that. So we're going to move on.
I appreciate it.
And we'll come back to Ms. McClanahan.
Thank you. And we can take comment from Ms. McClanahan in the next, till the end of the hearing, really. So please don't give up. We're working with you. We want to make sure that we can hear from you properly. So thanks, Ms. McClanahan.
Thank you. The other 2 speakers are not currently queued up, so we are going to go to email comment. And I'm going to read just a couple of comments we received. We received an email from Gustavo Aguirre with Center on Race, Poverty, and the Environment. We are resending our letter of community priorities we sent in June, but we want to be sure it is not forgotten. Thanks for considering the allocation of funds for these community needs projects. And your board has received via email and hard copy at the dais the letter from June 8th that Mr. Aguirre is referring to. We also received an email in Spanish related to this, and I'm going to ask our interpreter, Fernando Lopez, to come down, and he's got that email to quickly read, and then one other email regarding libraries. Mr. Lopez?
This email sent by Estela Escoto. My name is Estela Escoto. I am a member of the Committee for a Better Arvin, reminding you of the letter sent on 6/8/2020 regarding priority projects and needs in our communities. Please provide the funds for the implementation of these projects. And the second one is sent by Maria Peña and states, "The library is very helpful. Please do not close it."
Thank you, Mr. Lopez. We also received an email from Diana Mireles mirroring the comments regarding the letter from Center on Race, Poverty, and the Environment that Mr. Gustavo Aguirre submitted. We have received, regarding libraries, we have received 8 voice messages. We have received 47 emails, total of 55 comments in all. All of these comments in opposition to funding cuts to libraries and possible library closures. Of the 55, 22 were regarding Fraser Park Library, 9 regarding the Shafter Library, 22 regarding the California City Library, and the other 2 were regarding libraries at large. At this time, we're going to hear the 8 voice messages that were sent in.
Thank you.
Good day. My name is Albert Orellana. I am calling regarding the library budget. I am a Fraser Park resident and have no internet, no computer in my home, nor do the finances to fund it. I'm a disabled Vietnam veteran, and I cannot live without our local library that was such a blessing when presented to us in the recent years. Please, I beg of you, to not do away with our library. We don't have much in our mountain communities here in Fraser Park, and the library is imperative to not just our education, but our survival and many, many, many programs that it benefits all of us. Please, do the right thing and continue to fund our library, and thank you very much for your time. Thank you again. Please leave our library open in Fraser Park.
LauraRaymond. Laura Raymond is my name, and I'm calling regarding the library budget. I would like to stress this is for the Fraser Park Library, and I cannot stress enough how important it is that we are able to keep our library open for the public. Please don't close our library. It's the heart and soul of our community, and especially for our elderly and our young children of our community, it is a place where they can go and read books and spend time as groups. It's something that our mountain community so desperately needs. Please don't close it. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Melissa Bergen. I established the change.org online petition to save the Shafter Library. I'm giving you an update on that petition. There are currently 1,008 signers. We also, just today, Sunday, received a link from the Bakersfield Californian about an article they put out about our campaign as well. It's by Stephen Meyer. I sent a full copy of the article text to the public comment email line. Thank you for consideration of this matter.
This is Frances O'Brien, Frances, capital O apostrophe, capital BRIEN, calling about the library budget. Having worked as a volunteer at Fraser Park Library almost since its opening, I am extremely concerned that we might lose this service. In working with school groups, I have seen children not only discover the joy of learning about a subject, many have educated their parents as well. Another meaningful activity is sharing my experience in the civil rights movement, thus becoming living history for the children. Nor am I the only dedicated volunteer. Perhaps you are not aware of how many willing hands and the Friends of the Library you would have if you at least allow curbside delivery at Fraser Park Library. We are experienced in finding books for patrons, checking in returned material, and shelving the latter. This frees a qualified librarian to do the checking out and record keeping. Now, when many parents are finding themselves homeschooling and feeling inadequate for the task, it is more important than ever to have this resource. I hope you, understanding the value of culture and education, will allow the Fraser Park Library to continue to provide both. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Christine Plasterer. That's Christine. Plasterer is Plasterer. And this is regarding the library budget, specifically for the Fraser Park Library. I understand that you're considering closing it. And I just wanted to ask that you would reconsider doing that. It is a beautiful library. I've taken my daughter and my husband have been up there. We live in Bakersfield, so it's a 30-minute drive for us. And certainly I have closer libraries. There's Irvin Lamont, and then there's the Beale Memorial Library and the one on Ming. So we've been to all of them. But of all of them, truly, it is the crown jewel. It is a gorgeous library. The site where it's at, just across from the park, the facilities for the children's section, and it is just a wonderful, wonderful library. We would see. Hopefully, you could allocate the budget or shift it somehow, and please do not close that library. I think it's a beautiful library, and it would be a loss for the community. So. Anyways, thank you so much for hearing my my opinion. Thank you.
My name's Tracy Lundberg, TracyLundberg, and I'm calling about the library budget for Fraser Park, California. And I just want to say that one of the main reasons for me moving to Fraser Park was because of the library. I read like 3 to 4 books a month, and it's very crucial that you keep the library open. Thank you.
Mary Dreyer, D as in David, R-E-I-E-R, regarding the library budget. I'm calling from Fraser Park. Our community is disadvantaged. The nearest library outside of Fraser is over 50 miles away, and per California Code 19967, our library is to remain open. We don't want curbside service. We want an open library. Thank you.
Anna, Dennis. My library is the most important thing in Fraser Park. It is the community's heart and soul. Please, please vote yes and save our, whatever you have to do to vote. Please vote in favor of supporting our library. Raise my taxes if you want, but get them then. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the board. We do have Deborah McClanahan calling in again, and her phone is unmuted. So, Ms. McClanahan, if you would go ahead and address the board, you have 2 minutes.
Welcome. Good evening.
Hi. Can you hear me now?
I sure can. Thank you. I'm glad we worked that out.
Thank you, Madam. Good evening, Madam Chair and members of the board. My name is Deborah McClanahan, and I work for the Department of Human Services. I've been a Kern County employee for the past 14 years, and I am a proud member of FEIU Local 521. I would like to address that as essential public workers, we have stepped up to the call for service throughout this pandemic. And now is the time for our Board of Supervisors, you, to lift up our workers and our communities. Just like our communities, we workers are facing tough choices during this pandemic as well. Even as we focus on providing public services, we too are feeling the impacts of this crisis. We ask that the Board of Supervisors consider the needs of its workforce, the frontline heroes, as we make decisions, and as you make decisions on the next fiscal year's budget. Workers need support for their families as we face the upcoming school year, where many of our schools are going to be online learning models. We need to make teleworking options available for these employees, as well as providing additional support to those of us who are struggling to find child care while continuing to work for the county. We also want to be recognized for the risk we place ourselves at every day in our jobs. I myself risk myself every day as I step out of my vehicle, walk toward my building. I'm wearing my mask. I'm accosted by the general public approaching me. They're not wearing masks. What we need to do is that we need to, how can I put it? You need to look at us. We are important. We are servicing the community. We are stepping up to the plate. We are risking our lives to service our community and our public, and we need to be recognized. We need to be taken seriously. I'm asking you that as our elected Board of Supervisors, that you consider the impact to the workers and to our communities as we serve them and as we serve you in making the decision on next year's budget. We ask that you be committed to passing a budget that invests in our people, your workers, and our services, and continue to address the impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic. I thank you so very much for your time and understanding, and I look forward to working with you in the future. Thank you very much.
Ms. McClellan, thank you for your service to Kern County, to families and our underprivileged. It is much appreciated. You and many, many members of this county who do so, but thank you for calling in, taking the time, and working through our technical difficulties. We appreciate your input. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, members of the board, along that line, we also received, and you have a copy of an email from a county employee, Chaidu Okafor, with the Department of Human Services, basically mirroring the comments made by Ms. McClanahan and Francisco Martinez. So I just wanted to make you aware of that.
Thank you.
We have received 14 voicemails and 102 emails, all in opposition to funding cuts to the fire department and opposing fire station brownouts and closures. You have all of those emails. You have received all of those voicemails. We are going to hear the 14 voicemails that were submitted, so we'll hear those now.
Thank you.
My name is Meg Strange, MEGSTRANGE, and I wish to comment on the firefighters, for the firefighters on this board meeting, which is August 3rd. I would like to submit my comment as being completely in union with the Kern County firefighters in letting the Board of Supervisors know that I believe it is irresponsible to cut emergency services to any part of Kern County. I especially believe so because I live in the Kern River Valley and we are already understaffed, and wildland fires are a very, very serious consideration here. Thank you very much for listening to my comment. Once again, I stand with the Kern County firefighters in being completely against cutting public safety services to our county residents. Thank you.
My name is Lori Peters, Laurie Peters, Peters. This is for public comment on the August 3rd p.m. session of the recommended 2021 budget. I repeat, I do not want any cuts to the Kern County Fire Department. It is vital for our safety, and they need to leave the Keene Station open. It is vital for the citizens of Hart Flat. Thank you.
I am Ardith K. Mears. I live in Stallion Springs. I am handicapped, and I will say this. If I did not have the fire department 1 mile from where I live, my children would have me committed to a nursing home. I need our fire department here. Please. Thank you very much. In regards to its apps, kerncounty.com, 2020-2021. Thank you very much.
Claudia Seidschlag, S as in Sam,
SCHLAG. This is for the meeting of August 3rd, the PM session in regards to the 2021 budget, specifically the fire department. We live in a very secluded area known as Stallion Springs in Kern County. Our fire department is extremely important to this community because we are what is considered the 14-mile cul-de-sac at the end. In the event of fire, it takes the fire department coming from Tehachapi City about a half an hour to get here. We need to keep funding alive for these little rural communities so that we can have fire and emergency services as needed. Thank you.
My name is Jeannie Edwards, Jeannie, capital EDWARDS. My comment is in regard to the proposed 2020-2021 fiscal year budget for the fire department closures that are recommended for Twin Oaks, Walker Basin area. This area, without their local station, would be over an hour away from any county response in an emergency situation. I urge you to please reconsider cutting funds for this station. Thank you.
This is Ara Marderosian, spelled A-R-A, last name M-A-R-D-E-R-O-S-I-A-N. I'm calling about the PM session, the August 3rd, 2020 PM session, recommendations for the 2021 budget. I don't want fire department cutting. I don't want the fire department budget cut or staff cut. We already are in a dire straits with the fire conditions in our county, and there needs to be personnel available all the time. Thank you.
My name is Patricia Revelis. My grandson Zachary Vance and his family are residents of Caliente and will be greatly in danger if the budget cuts to the fire department are allowed to happen. If you have any questions, I would be happy to call back and voice further information about my concerns for the safety of everyone in Caliente. This is for the August 3rd board meeting. Thank you.
My name is Durwood Sygrest. I live in the Lakeside area, and I understand you intend to cut our fire department's budget. I am very much opposed to that and will be voting against any supervisors that would propose such a thing, especially in light of the fact that I'm told you may very well close the Old River Fire Station as a cost-saving measure, which leaves me and my neighborhood in dire straits should there be a fire in the area. Please take this under advisement and vote appropriately. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Linda Letourneau. I'm calling regarding the possible closure of the Old River Fire Station. In our community, we are in dire need of that fire station for both our health, safety, and well-being. We have a lot of farmland out here. We have a lot of people that need the fire department because they have health issues. Please do not close that fire department. We are in great need. It takes too long for any other law enforcement agencies or safety people to get out here. Please.
I do not want the Old River Fire Department shut down. That's the only line of defense we have out here. The Sheriff's Department is slow to react, and emergency calls are very important in this area. We will not have anybody close if you shut the fire station down. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Karen Foley, Karen, F as in Frank, Oley.
I live in the outlying county area where the fire department on Taft Highway, I guess, is being discussed about removing it. And being that we're all out here with wells, cannot be without a fire department in the general area. So I would request that you seriously reconsider removing that fire department. Thank you.
Tamara Gay, Tamragay. I'm calling from Stallion Springs out of Tehachapi, California. I'm calling about recommended fire department 2021 budget, and we're 25 minutes away from any staffing, so we need staffing out here 24/7. And this is a public comment on the 2021 budget. Leave our fire department alone.
My name is Lorraine Skaggs. I am against you closing the Old River Kern County Fire Department station because that's the only one that's actually close to us out here where we live. And that would mean that the one from Taft Highway near Greenfield, Union Avenue, would take a longer time to get here. So please don't close the Old River Kern County Fire Station. Thank you.
My name is Paul White, Paulwhite. This comment is for the meeting of August 3rd, 2020, and about the 2020 to 21 budget. As a resident of Kern County, whose property taxes are just greatly increased, our public safety is apparently under attack by the county CAO. Defunding of our fire department in any way is highly irresponsible. The county has nearly $46 million to carry forward and $175 million in reserves. So please do not cut any funding for Kern County Fire Department. This is a request for the Board of Supervisors to make no cuts in any way to public safety, and in particular, zero reduction for our fire department. Thank you.
Madam Chair, members of the board, that concludes voice messages regarding fire. I have 2 emails to read, and we have 1 more voice message to hear, and that will conclude public comments. So,
thank you.
This email is from Minerva Contreras. My name is Minerva Contreras. I am a resident from Lamont, and I want to leave a public comment for the budget hearing. I would like to ask the county not to cut funds in parks and green spaces because they are really important for the community. I know a group of people like me who would like to see a community garden in Lamont in addition to the park improvements we need. I would also like to ask the county not to cut funding from our local libraries. They are an important resource to the children and the community of Lamont. This last email is from Sunny. Hello, my name is Sunny. Hope all is well. I would like to propose Kern County to plant more trees around the city, especially around all the school areas. I live in the Panama Lane and Hosking area and would like to see some beautiful trees that would benefit the air, aesthetics, and pollution. Beautiful trees that would make our city transform into a place that everyone would love. I would like to see these planted in the area of Horizon Elementary and Golden Valley High. Our family donated some trees and had them planted inside the school. It made a huge difference for the children. Further, we need more street lights. Many children are walking, and adults are exercising more and more in the evening/late night due to extreme heat. It is in the best interest for safety and allowing people to have the visual of the street and surroundings to prevent crime. Thank you for your time and help. Please feel free to contact me. And we have 1 more voice message. This is from Nicholas Cisneros from Rexland Acres regarding grants for disadvantaged communities. We'll play that voicemail now.
Hi, this is Nicholas Cisneros, NICOLAS-CISNEROS, leader in Rexland Acres, calling about the county budget on August 3. And I'd like to comment asking you to please allocate funds and try to find grants for communities in disadvantage like mine, Rexland Acres, because it's a known flooding area and in disadvantage. And the project going on now will cover only part of this flooding area. Also help us to get solar panels to decrease utility bills. So we ask for your help to get curb gutter and sidewalks in our whole area and get help for our park. Thank you.
Madam Chair, members of the board, that concludes public comment.
Okay, I don't see any of my colleagues punched in to provide comment, but I am going to ask our CAO to please respond to the comment that a gentleman made a few moments ago that we have a large sum in carryover. I think that is a good question and one in which the public will wonder about as we close in to finalize our budget. If you don't want to do that now and prefer to do it at a later budget time, that's okay too. As I know some of this information is recent and still forthcoming. But I'll leave that to your discretion, Mr. Alsop.
Sure, Madam Chair, members of the board, I appreciate the opportunity. I'm going to ask Ms. Martinez to step to the mic and follow my comments, but she had walked your board through earlier how that carry forward is being spent. That carry forward consists of project, planned capital project delays. A significant portion of it is CARES Act, Federal CARES Act funding. We're using a significant amount of it to plug our budget deficit due to COVID-19. So all of that is being spent. We're using a portion of it to purchase new fire equipment. So I'll let Elsa walk through again the breakdown of that carry forward. I know it's complicated for folks. In the reserves, we have money in reserves that are designated for specific uses. Elsa may want to walk through a little bit about that as well in her comments back to you on how that money is allocated and utilized for whether it's fiscal stabilization, emergencies, or assistance or cash flow, or specific business purposes throughout the year for a variety of different purposes.
Thank you, Ryan.
Ms. Martinez.
Thank you. Elsa, if you could, you did a technical run through earlier, and I appreciate that. I know how brilliant you are, and your command of numbers is phenomenal. If you heard the tone from folks calling in, they're concerned about loss of fire service. That is real. You hear it in people's voices. So if you could help with a more, I think, general response to those questions without, the numbers are there. We can debate them. Obviously, you did go through them already. They are available for public scrutiny. But if you could help to try to address, the concept or the idea that we have a bunch of carryover money, why would we cut fire services? And if you could just address people's legitimate concerns, I would so greatly appreciate it.
Madam Chair, in a perfect world, we would never have carry forward fund balance. We prepare our budget with some estimates for revenue, for expenses, and a net zero fund balance. So we have this discussion every year. Well, you always have this fund balance carry forward. That is usually the results of actions at the department level. The $45.7 million of carry forward fund balance, the reason we wait until the end of the fiscal year is because I estimate throughout the year what that number is going to be based on current projections, current projections on spending and revenue. If your board may recall, we were in front of your board here asking you to allow us to reduce discretionary spending from May and June because we had significant concerns about revenue collections, both in sales tax and realignment revenue. And in fact, our net fund balance is lower than in previous years. Out of that amount, only $3.4 million is leftovers from departments. So our departments are spending their funds that we budget to the extent that they're allowed. Part of that carry forward is your board's directed on budget savings incentives. That provides the department some cushion that if throughout the year they have unexpected expenditures and or unforeseen revenue reductions, they can continue providing services to the public. The majority of that carry forward was actually the postponement of capital projects and major maintenance. Your board allows in May to suspend some projects that we felt we could hold on until we had better estimates for revenue reduction. So that carry forward is one-time money. You cannot count on it. I walk you through our proposed uses of that carry forward. We are using $11.1 million to balance our budget on fiscal year 2021. We may have that money available the following year, we may not. And so we have to plan carefully when we prepare. If you recall, the first slide that I showed you was our budget. Our budget is $3 billion, our county budget. $45 million in the general fund is not significant. If you ask me, best practices is to have at least 2 months of available expenditures in your fund balance. When I count the 45.7 plus our fiscal reserve, we have barely above the 2 months minimum that is recommended. So it is very important to have those reserves. Your board has also set aside other reserve. And in our staff report, I broke it down in different categories. We have the $4 million fiscal stability that provides you what I call you the 2 months of reserves that we need in case of uncertainties. We also have funds set aside for, as Mr. Alsap, for pension backfill and recruitment and retention. If your board recall, every time our retirement association changes the assumed rate of return, we see an immediate hit of approximately $25 million to our county budget. We cannot reduce $25 million in 1 year. Our service level impact would be across the county. So what we have done in the past, because we have pension bonds that are gonna be maturing in 2 years, your board has carefully set aside that money to offset those increases until the time that those pension bonds are paid off. We have set up other designations for capital improvement. We presented to your board that we have a county-wide communication system, our 911 system. Some parts are not available in the market. We're gonna have to replace that system. That system is over $60 million. We're trying to set aside enough funds to pay a portion of it that we cannot finance. But we're gonna have to finance a portion because we don't have those $60 million. So the reduction in fire, I wanna make sure Mr. Alsap said, we're gonna be working with our fire departments. We transferred $4 million of property tax from the general fund to the fire fund to assist them with the service level impacts. Your board approved some actions. We're gonna be negotiating with cities that may help. They have some available extra property tax. They have some carry forward, the fire department themselves, that we're gonna be able to utilize to mitigate service level impacts. But at the end of the day, the level of reserves we have is not sufficient for a $3 billion budget.
Elsa, thank you so much. That was very helpful. I'm going to ask my colleagues if they'd like to weigh in or ask any questions of Elsa before we wrap up for the evening. Gentlemen? I know we'll have another opportunity in late August to finalize this budget, but I appreciate the input. And Elsa, that was very helpful, an overall picture of the budget. Do we have somebody on the line? Kathy?
Not that I'm aware of, unless Supervisor Maggard wanted to make a comment.
Oh, I see. Supervisor Maggard?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I appreciate staff's presentation, and I am good to go for this evening.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that, and we'll see you tomorrow. And Kathy, I think that brings us to the public hearing portion of our, I see Supervisor Couch is punched in.
Yeah, I want to ask one quick question. Could you, whoever is appropriate, could you respond to the question, or I guess it was just the question, of library closures in general?
Yes, sir. Supervisor Couch, through the chair. There seems to be some misinformation out there. Libraries have been closed since March due to COVID-19, and they will likely remain closed for, and when I say closed, allowing the public in for the regular business operations that everybody's so used to. And while that is incredibly unfortunate, that's the situation we're in, given the governor's order, and so the libraries remain closed. Our library staff, led by a great director, Ms. Sullivan, has gotten creative and has done a lot of things to change some things around and offer some curbside services. They've done it they've taken a regional approach. Your board, through this budget recommendation, is enabling her to continue doing that and expanding those services, those curbside services, to more locations. We currently have library brick and mortar and library staff focused on dealing with this pandemic. There are several library locations that are serving as distribution points for PPE, personal protective equipment for small business. This is a needed distribution of PPE for small businesses to protect themselves and their employees and their customers from COVID. We have libraries serving as testing sites, and so that's the situation we're in with libraries. But this budget, to the callers and the emails, certainly we heard a lot from Frazier Park. We are not proposing to close the Frazier Park Library. That is not being proposed. I am not recommending that. Ms. Sullivan is not recommending that. It's a beautiful library. We love libraries. I know you all love libraries and understand their value in the community. This budget does not propose any permanent closure of any single branch within our library system.
Thank you.
Supervisor Couch, does that address your question? Thank you for asking that. It's very important. And it's exciting to see our community come out in such passionate defense of our libraries and that communal space that so much is offered to so many people. So thank you for taking notes, Supervisor. I know we're working hard to give as much as we can in regards to communal spaces. In light of Corona, we're in a very unique challenge, and we've got to stick together as we see what's coming down the pike, literally week by week. So thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Elsa. Thank you, colleagues. We're going to adjourn. We will see you back in the morning, August 4th at 9 a.m., where we'll have our regular board session. Thank you so much. Good evening, and God bless you all.